American roads are getting ready for electric vehicles. A good article. Um, Electric America just hit a big milestone. The company recently installed its 500th fast charging station for electric vehicles, EVs. These 500 stations consist of more than 2,200 individual fast chargers. And this feat is all thanks to Volkswagen's VW's big scandal back in 2015. I'm sure many people remember this one. VW perpetrated one of the largest frauds in the auto industry by falsifying emissions data. The company installed a device that made it look like its cars passed emission standards when they really did not. This went on for at least 7 years. In the end, VW admitted that at least 11 million cars worldwide had been filled with this device to make it look like the emissions were within the allowable threshold. Once this was discovered, VW was hit with a $2.8 billion criminal penalty in the United States. It was the largest fine on an automaker in history. And as a part of its negotiations with the United States government over this massive fine, VW agreed to promote electric vehicle use for at least the next 10 years. Thus, Electrify America was born. The company was created by Volkswagen, and it remains a subsidiary of VW to this very day. Electrify America started building fast charging stations for EVs across the United States in 2018. The fact that it has already completed 500 stations is remarkable. It's fantastic progress in a relatively short period of time. And this is all part of the push to get American roads ready for electric vehicles. Just like we need gas stations spread throughout each city before traditional cars caught on, we will need many convenient and easily accessible fast charging stations before EVs make sense to the mainstream consumer. A few charging stations here and there won't do the trick. We'll need multiple charging stations in every city across the country for EVs to become mainstream, and that's why there's plenty of room for competition here. To put Electrify America's milestone into context, a company called ChargePoint has 6,083 stations across 43 US states. Tesla has more than 2,000 charging stations across North America. Collectively, these stations boast more than 20,000 superchargers between them. Blink Charging now has 1,499 charging stations running with 3,832 chargers. EVgo has more than 800 fast charging locations with more than 1,000 chargers. Semicharge has 596 stations with 2,109 chargers. So Electrify America has quickly situated itself among the companies racing to build out EV infrastructure. And we should note that this isn't purely an altruistic endeavor. EV drivers pay fees to fill up at these charging stations, just like we pay to fill our traditional cars up with gas. Electricity isn't free. And that brings us to another point. EVs don't really run on clean energy right now. That's a misconception. The fact is, the electricity that fuels EVs today is produced by burning carbon-based fossil fuels or nuclear fission. Fossil fuels generate carbon emissions, and nuclear fission generates nuclear waste. So EVs won't truly be clean until the electricity used for fuel is produced 100% by clean energy methods. Shout out to Cova, my sponsor. The gig protection plan starts at $7 a month. These are the gig companies that it's teamed up with. You get a free month underneath this link. What is a gig protection plan? Let's say you get wrongfully terminated or deactivated. They have a legal arm called Legal Rideshare. I'll give them a shout out as well. They're in Chicago. They will send out the legal letters to get you reinstated. In case you get into an accident, end up in hospital, car ends up in the workshop, they kick in cover up to 80% of your lost earnings. Now, Legal Rideshare, the Chicago-based law firm, if you've been in any major injury, God forbid, I hope it never happens, you or your riders, if you've had property damage to your car, if you've lost wages, let's say you've been out of commission for a few months, you've obviously lost several $1,000s. They will handle the entire insurance claim process for you. Check them out. All the details are below. Thank you.